First, I want to say thanks for all the attention the last video I made got. I appreciate it. I don't do these videos to get acknowledged or recognition. I do them simply because I am a voice in the wilderness, as my videos refer, and I just call it like I see it. I'm just a guy. I'm just a person, and that's so thanks. Now, I want to share an email that I received from a friend today, and I call this a common sense solution that obviously I have no idea why anyone in the government hasn't understood this as a solution or looked at it, which implies to me that they probably have, and it's not something they want to do for whatever reasons they have. God knows what that might be. But let's look at this, and I want you to understand this is just something I got today. I'm sure a lot of people have gotten this, but I want to share it. I'm against the $85 billion bailout of AIG. This is just about AIG, but let's expand into the situation. Instead, I'm in favor of giving $85 billion to America in a, quote, we deserve it dividend. To make the math simple, let's assume there are 200,000 bona fide U.S. citizens, 18 plus. Our population is about 301 million, I beg your pardon, 200 million, plus or minus, counting every man, woman, and child. So 200 million might be a fair stab at adults 18 and up. So divide 200 million adults, 18 plus, into 85 billion. That equals $425,000. My plan is to give $425,000 to every person 18 plus as a, quote, we deserve it dividend, end quote. Of course, it would not be tax-free, so let's assume a tax rate of 30%. Every individual 18 plus has to pay $127,500 in taxes. That sends $25 billion right back to Uncle Sam. But it means that every adult 18 plus has $297,500 in their pocket. A husband and wife has $595,000. What would you do with $297,000 to $595,000 in your family? Pay off your mortgage. Housing crisis solved. Repay college loans. What a great boost to new grads. Put away money for college. It'll be there. Save in a bank. Create money to loan to entrepreneurs. Buy a new car. Create jobs. Invest in the market. Capital drives growth. Pay for your parents' medical insurance. Healthcare improves. And enable deadbeat dads to pay up. Child support collection improved. Remember, this is for every adult U.S. citizen 18 plus, including the folks who lost their jobs at Lehman Brothers, and every other company that is cutting back, and of course for those serving in our armed forces. If we're going to redistribute wealth, let's really do it. If we're going to do an $85 billion bailout, let's bail out every adult U.S. citizen 18 plus. As for AIG, liquidate it. Sell off its parts. Let American General go back to being an American General. Sell off the real estate. Let the private sector bargain hunters cut it up and clean it up. Here's my rationale. We deserve it, and AIG doesn't. Sure, it's a crazy idea that can never work, but can you imagine the coast-to-coast block party? How do you spell economic boom? I trust my fellow adult Americans to know how to use the $85 billion we deserve, the, quote, we deserve it dividend, end quote, more than the geniuses at AIG or in Washington, D.C. And remember, the family plan only really costs $59.5 billion because $25.5 billion is returned instantly in taxes to Uncle Sam. Now, if you take that $85 billion and turn it into $700 billion, I believe that's the number, and do the same thing that this person has suggested, my God, wouldn't that be just a great situation for everybody? Now, why hasn't Washington done this? Instead of the paltry little tax break we received, what was it, $600, why hasn't this happened for America? Perhaps some people think it reeks of communism. I don't think so. What does the bailout of several failing corporations reek of? Why? My question is why this isn't a viable, solution. With the risk of sounding like a conspiratist or a conspiracy buff, that's the word. Perhaps that's not what they want to do. Perhaps the government has a more insidious reason for wanting to push this so-called bailout through so quickly without enough answers. When Bush spoke the other evening, he mentioned something to the extent of that if this doesn't happen right away, then Americans will be in worse trouble later. Well, perhaps. But did he give an explanation as to how we would be in worse trouble? No, he didn't. And has there been an explanation as to how we would be in worse trouble? No, there hasn't. Why is that? Perhaps there's something a little more devastating behind the push for this bailout to us and to our country than we realize. Why would a large portion of his own party be opposed to this bailout? I mean, it's Bush or the Democrats. What's going on? All of a sudden, the coin has flipped. Here's a great example of how our two-party system is really one party with two different sides of the same coin, as I have often said. And to quote Noam Chomsky, I personally don't trust either party, and now I trust them even less. Because here we have Republicans opposing something that this president of theirs is suggesting, and the Democrats are behind him. Now the Democrats are backpedaling because the Republicans are backpedaling, and so what's really going on? Are they trying to sell our country down the river to something worse, something bigger? Is this an effort towards true globalization, and is America in more danger of losing its identity and our citizenship in a country that is ours to people who intend to buy it? What's really going on? America, stand up and ask. More questions? Refuse to accept this bailout, stand against this bailout, and if anything, suggest this other idea, the we deserve it dividend, because it sounds better to me than anything I've heard come out of Washington.